a smiling father, a glowing mother, 2 beautiful children, and a baby boy on the way. From the outside, the Watts family seemed like the picture of American suburban bliss. But beneath that facade lay a darkness that would unravel into one of the most disturbing family murders in recent history. Shanann Watts was a devoted mother and a driven entrepreneur. Her social media painted a life full of gratitude, ambition, and love for her husband, Chris, who she often called her rock. Chris Watts worked in the oil industry, specifically Anadarko Petroleum, and was seemingly quiet but dependable. As we explored in part 1 of this docu-series, on August 13th, 2018, concern grew when Shanann's friend Nicole Atkinson couldn't reach her via text or phone calls. She contacted the police due to the fact that Shanann had missed her morning medical appointment. Officer Coonrod arrived at the Watts family residence, and his body cam footage shows tense moments. Shanann's car still in the garage, which was odd because she was on a play date according to Chris Watts. Her purse, phone, and medications untouched, but no Shanann, no Bella, no CC. In part 1, we had neighbor Nate showing his home surveillance footage to Officer Coonrod, in which it catches Chris backing his truck into the garage early that morning. He's seen loading it alone. In part 1, if you missed it, we will go ahead and pin it to the top of the comment section here on this video. A link will be provided. We went into depth for the disappearance of Shanann Watts and the children. Let me go ahead and recap some of those timeline of events. On August 13th, 2018, which was a Monday, at 1:48 a.m., Shanann returned home from a business trip from Arizona. Her friend Nicole Atkinson dropped her off that night. In the morning, Chris says he left for work around 5:15 a.m. Later on that day, Nicole Atkinson grows concerned after Shanann misses an OBGYN appointment and doesn't answer texts or any communications. 1:40 p.m. rolls around. Nicole calls police for a welfare check. Officer Coonrod arrives around 2:07 p.m., and when Chris Watts eventually arrives to his home, he lets him in. Unfortunately, there were no signs of Shanann or the kids. Chris gave media interviews locally, pleading for his family's return. He appears detached, triggering suspicion, throwing up red flags, and this is when police note inconsistencies in Chris's story and begin tighter surveillance. During the dates of August 14th through 15th, 2018, the investigation intensifies. Day 1 was the initial voluntary interview that took place August 14th, 2018. Chris Watts was brought into the Frederick Police Department for questioning. Present were Detective Tammy Lee of the Colorado Bureau of Investigation (CBI) and also Detective Graham Coder of the FBI. The initial approach was rapport building. Detective Coder was the lead in early questioning. He approached Chris gently using a non-confrontational tone. He validated Chris's feelings, calling him a good guy and father. Coder subtly probed inconsistency between Chris's statements and the known facts. Chris Watts' story was that he claimed he left for work early on the 13th, leaving Shanann at home with the kids. He stated that they had an emotional conversation the night before about separating, but insisted things were civil. Chris also claimed Shanann was home when he left, and he didn't know where she and the girls went. The detectives noted Chris's body language was closed off. He often looked away when answering, rubbed his face, and seemed agitated, and there were no visible distress or urgency about his missing family.
I'm going to sit next to you, so we're going to look at it together. So what I want to do is, we have a whole bunch of people coming in, from your neighborhood. Somebody saw something. Somebody knows where these kids are. And I keep saying kids, I'm sorry, the kids in your life. I work these quite a bit, and so tonight, if I make one of those mistakes when I say kids instead of your wife and kids, I apologize. We work it a lot, so I apologize if something comes out wrong, or, anyway. I know you're going through a lot, so we're not going to keep you here all night.
So the doorbell has a camera on it when you get up to a certain proximity, and when you ring it, it detects a visitor.
Okay. Sorry, you distracted me out here.
Oh.
Tell me what happened, get it all out, and once you get it out, let's go over it, okay? So just get it all out as far as this. Tell me exactly what you remember, and I'll take notes about where we can go.
Okay. So this 1:48 a.m.
Let me switch chairs. Because when they come knocking, when they come knocking, I gotta use that key.
So 1:48 a.m. Doorbell detects the visitor. So when we were over at the neighbor's house, the next day we were looking at his camera as well, and it didn't show anybody walking up to the driveway, which is kind of weird. That's the only reason I put that on there, because it showed Nicole dropping her off, but nobody actually walking up to the house. It was kind of weird, but she was in the house.
Okay.
So-
And what time are we talking?
This is still 1:48.
Okay.
So, 2 a.m., Shannon gets in bed with me. 4 a.m., that's when my alarm goes off for work, and I'm just get dressed, brush my teeth, everything I do upstairs.
Okay.
4:15, that's when I get back, slide right into bed next to her, and start having a conversation with her about having putting the house up for sale, and talking about stuff like actually proceeding with the separation.
Okay.
And obviously it gets pretty emotional, like we're talking about, like we felt the disconnection was there, like falling out of love, and trying to stay together, maybe just for the kids' sake, but we're realizing that doing like our homework, it's not, most of the time that's not going to work.
Yeah.
And it gets pretty emotional because we have 2 beautiful kids and we have 1 on the way. So it's just a matter of like, it was very emotional, we were both crying, and at the end, we just said, she said she was going to take the kids to her friend's house for the day. She would be back.
Okay.
I was like, okay, that's fine. And so I went downstairs, made my protein shake. That was at 5 a.m. That's when I did that.
Okay.
Packed my lunchbox, had my oatmeal, chicken, filled my water jug up. 5:15, I went outside, backed my truck up, was loaded up. Had my book bag, my lunchbox, computer, water jug, my big clear container. I put big clear containers in my truck so it's easy just to pull out, pull in, just depending on what I'm going to use. My O-ring kit, and I knew I was going to do some stuffing box rubbers that day, so I got some various open wrenches from my toolbox. I know those would work better than the ones they would give me.
Okay.
5:30, that's when I went to work.
Okay.
And I hadn't heard from Shanann for about 2 hours there, so the 7:40 I texted her and asked her if she could tell me where the kids were, if she took them anywhere.
Okay.
At 12, I texted her again, called me, nothing. And then about 12:10 p.m., that's when my doorbell visitor, another visitor, and I was like, hey, it popped up on my phone, and it said it was Nicole. And I tried to put it on my phone to see if she's just trying to get in or whatnot. And I hear her, she's on the phone trying to, I could hear her through my phone saying she was trying to get to Shanann, so that's when I called her. Yeah, I called her at 12:20, see what was going on. She told me that Shanann hadn't responded to any of her calls all day, or any of her friends' calls all day.
Okay.
And that's very strange, just because, if she doesn't get back to me, that's fine, she gets busy with kids, whatever.
Yeah.
So if she doesn't get back to her people, the people she works with direct sales,
Okay.
so if she doesn't get back with them, that's strange.
Yeah, she's the type to answer the phone.
For them, yeah, that's all the time.
Okay.
Yeah. For me, it's just like, hey, wait, I'll see you later.
Okay.
So about 12:40, a few more efforts from Nicole to reach her while she's there, outside the house.
Mm-hmm.
And at 1 o'clock, that's when I left, and I was like, all right, I'm on my way down there. 2 o'clock when I got home, because they couldn't get in because the front door had a top latch to keep the kids in.
Who's that?
Nicole and the police officer that was there.
Okay. Oh, right. Okay, gotcha.
So they couldn't get in because top latch on the front door was hinged, and the keypad on the outside did not work to get into the garage, so they had to wait till I got there so I could get the remote opened.
Okay.
So that's when I got home. I opened the garage door and we went inside the house and looked everywhere. Shanann, Bella, and Celeste, nowhere to be found. Shannon's wedding ring's on her nightstand, her phone's still on the couch, her purse is still there, the medicine for the kids is still there, the car seat's still there, and there's no sign of them anywhere.
Okay.
3 o'clock, the police officer, detective, Howard, right?
Oh, yes.
Okay. Butcher's name every time. They're asking Nicole and I, questions about where she could have gone or who she could be with. At about 4 o'clock, the police officer was out there. He was checking neighbor security footage. At 5 p.m., the same police officer, detective, and then sergeant, another officer, they showed up and they searched the house again. About 6 o'clock, they didn't call around to anyone that may know something, called hospitals and hotels. 7:30, my friend Nick and Ben showed up to show support, and from then on, it's his friends just showing up. So Lauren, Dave, Jeremy, and 10 o'clock, pretty much about laid down, but I didn't go to bed till about like 2 a.m. just because field texts and calls all night.
Okay.
And I was just hoping that, I left all the lights on in the house, I was hoping that I'd get a knock on the door, but
Yeah, not bad.
yeah, but nothing happened.
What do you think happened?
At first, I really thought maybe she was just at somebody's house, just decompressing.
Blowing off steam.
Yeah, but after today, like with the onslaught of all the cars, all the police cars, all the news, all the canine units, it's making me lean the other direction about someone took her.
Okay.
But it's just, if someone took her, it would have to have been someone she knew. Because there's no sign of anything like being disturbed, broken.
Mm-hmm.
But like that's the way I'm leaning now. At first I thought for real she was just decompressing somewhere. I thought she was safe, even though everything in the house was left there. But now it's just after the day with the news crews and everything, it feels more the other direction, and it's freaking me out because I have no idea where they are.
Could think of anything that we could do to find them. What would it be?
Everything that I've exhausted so far is like people that have car seats, because she left the car seats. And she would never just, Bella could sit in a regular booster chair, because she's about that time.
Mm-hmm.
Celeste isn't quite there yet, but all the people that I know that have cars, they've contacted me.
Mm-hmm.
Unless it's, there's definitely a chance it's somebody I don't know. Being a guy or a girl, and she has plenty of friends through like direct sales that I've never met that could have a kid that they come and just say, hey, let's go, like just back up in the back, put them in, let's go. I wouldn't have their name, I wouldn't know who they are.
Okay.
And this is like, that's what's driving me nuts. Like when I told the news crew, like if she's out there, like just come home. Like if someone has her, or like not just has her, but she's at somebody's house and she's just decompressing, it's time to come back. But now this is real.
Okay.
This has gone to a different level.
Absolutely. Do you have an inkling of if it's good or bad?
Yesterday I would have thought that she was safe and it was good, that she would come home. Today it's more on the other side, because I don't think that she would let it get this far if she was just decompressing somewhere. She's not talking to anybody. As far as, and people that have reached out to me that I haven't talked to in like a year,
Mm-hmm.
that are friends with her.
Mm-hmm.
Like one of her best friends, Judy, lives in Florida. She works in the police department down in Miami.
Mm-hmm.
And she called me today. Like, that's one of her friends she would confide in.
Oh, okay.
So,
And she hasn't heard anything?
nothing.
And nobody's heard anything?
Mm-hmm. Her parents, she doesn't like talking to her mom, but still her mom calls her enough that she would at least answer once.
Yeah. And if she's, I'm married, I know how it is. If she's hacked off at her husband, would she call her mom?
She would call one of the friends that contacted me.
Okay.
At least one of them, because she has a close-knit group.
Okay.
But the fact that none of them know anything is very strange, because one of them would have said something by now, seeing what this has escalated to.
Is it possible that her close-knit group isn't close with you and there is somebody who knows where she is right now?
I don't think so, because, Nicole she's very close with Nicole. And the way Nicole is acting right now, as far as how emotional she is, there's no way, she knows.
What does that mean?
There's no way, she would know, where she is, if she knew.
Oh, so you're saying if Nicole knew?
Yeah, Nicole knew, the way she's acting right now, she's as freaked out as I am.
Okay.
So there's no way, she would know where she is if she knew.
Do you know Nicole that well?
Decent. She's been over at our house a good amount of time.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And you've obviously spoken with Nicole?
Oh, yeah.
And you don't have any weird feelings from her?
No, she was there at the house. She was the one that was ringing the doorbell trying to see what was going on.
Okay. Do you have a sense that the police here, the FBI here, do you have a sense that we have a good enough list of people to call and check with? So,
I think so, because I've gone through my entire phone. I know Nicole's gone through her entire phone. Amanda, anybody that lives here that knows Shanann, they pretty much have the same contact list.
okay.
So if there's somebody that's not on my phone, it's on theirs.
Okay. Has somebody, I think the police have Nicole's phone, or I'm sorry, your wife's phone, right?
Yes.
And I don't want to pronounce her name wrong,
Shanann.
Shanann? Okay. So the police have Shanann's phone?
Yep.
Do they have your phones? Have they looked at your phones?
I don't think so.
Okay. Can I run that out and have them look real quick?
Yeah.
Okay. Is there any password I'm going to run into?
3387.
3307?
3387.
3387. So I'm going to run this out.
Okay.
So 3387. And I really want them to just not physically rip this phone apart, but really dive in.
Okay.
And are you okay with that? Yeah. Okay. I'm going to hand off to somebody. Okay. All right. I'll be right back.
Detective Graham Coder played a pivotal role in the first formal interrogation of Chris Watts, dated on August 15th, 2018. This was 2 days after Shanann Watts and the children were reported missing. Coder, a veteran FBI agent, used strategic behavioral techniques rooted in the Reed technique and rapport-based interrogation methods in order to draw out information from Chris. Coder established rapport and a calm environment. The goal was to make Chris Watts feel comfortable, not threatened, and understood. The detective's approach was to use a calm, almost friendly tone throughout the first interview. If you notice by now, he calls Chris by his first name, asked about his well-being, and hell, even offered him snacks and drinks. Coder's effect was to disarm Chris emotionally and reduce his defensive instincts, allowing Chris to begin to view Coder more as a confidant than an adversary, saying things such as, "You're not in trouble right now, Chris. We just want to bring them home. That's the goal." Of course, that kind of statement allows Chris to relax and it encourages cooperation. Coder also executes the baseline behavior calibration technique, and the goal of this is to observe Chris's normal behavior and mannerisms while discussing non-threatening topics. Detective Coder began by asking about Chris's family life, job, and daily routine, the day Shanann and the kids were reported missing. While Chris Watts is answering questions, Coder observes, using eye contact, looking at his body posture, noticing the tone of voice, his reactions to emotional topics, i.e. kids and Shanann. This helped establish a baseline to compare with later responses to incriminating or emotionally loaded questions. Also, the strategic use of open-ended questions were huge. The goal of that was to allow Chris to tell his story freely, while looking for inconsistencies and other red flags. Detective Coder asking these type of things such as, "Tell me everything what happened from the time you woke up that day," or "When was the last time you saw Shanann and the girls?" These questions allowed Chris to construct his narrative. Coder listened closely and asked subtle follow-ups, of course waiting for contradictions or implausible explanations. This is a cognitive load technique because lying requires more mental effort. Open-ended questions increase cognitive strain, making it easier to detect deception. Moral framing and appealing to character was also a big deal in this first interview. The goal there was to encourage a confession by appealing to Chris's desire to be seen as a good person and not a monster. Detective Coder saying things such as, "I don't think you meant to do anything bad," or "We all make mistakes." This minimization technique implies leniency, giving the suspect an out or a psychological path to confess without fully tarnishing their self-image. Subtext, such as, "You're a good guy in a bad situation." That's an effective tactic for suspects like Chris who care about their image. I'm sure all of you have noticed the repetition and narrative rebuilding. This assists in catching inconsistencies or stress points. Agent Coder had Chris repeat his timeline and the events of August 13 multiple times. He gently pointed out differences in the accounts, such as time gaps and missing details. This is a persistent yet non-confrontational approach, eventually wearing Chris Watts down emotionally and draining him mentally.
Are there any other phones at home we can look at?
That's the only ones I know of. It's hers and mine.
Computers?
She has a laptop, but she barely uses it.
Okay. Where's the laptop?
In the office.
At home?
Yep.
Okay. Any other, like a Fitbit? Is there tablets?
I've had, but I have not found that.
Does she have it?
I've not found it yet if she has it, but I haven't seen it in the house.
Okay. So possibly she has it?
Possibly.
Oh, okay. When did you buy that?
Ooh, that was a long time ago.
And so is it a full-on iPad, like,
Yep.
you could use it to, like,
Wi-Fi.
Wi-Fi? Could you use it to navigate to an address?
You could text from it.
Oh, okay. So then, if it's possible and she has it and she's somewhere hurt or somewhere that we can't find her, she can't, in other words, could we somehow track that? Does that GPS?
It has to be sent to the Wi-Fi for it actually.
Oh, so it's not like a phone then, it's a,
No.
okay.
She has a watch as well, but I've not found that
She has
yet.
like a
Apple Watch.
Apple Watch, okay.
I've
Do you know
not
where
found
that is?
it. I've not found it. It's not on the charger.
And it's not at your house that you can tell. So she's, and again, this is probably something that the cops in the other room know about. If she's due in January, she's 4 or 5 months pregnant.
And she was 14, 15 weeks.
So, you know, strap on your CSI hat. You can imagine the FBI has some pretty cool tricks and toys and everything. Is there anything you can think of that we should be doing that we're not?
Honestly, everything that I saw there, it took me on a whirlwind. I didn't think all that was going to happen. So that everything that happened today, I thought you guys were like spot on.
Okay. Is there any good ideas that your friends have had saying, man, I gotta try this, I gotta do this?
A lot of people have asked about Amber Alerts, but I'm not sure like why that. I'm not sure like I'm sure Amber Alerts have to do with like, all right, if you know someone has taken a kid, but since the last person you saw was the mom,
Yeah.
and you don't think everybody's gone.
Yeah.
That's probably why Amber Alert's not really
Yeah.
used in this respect.
Amber Alerts are a little bit different. One thing that helps Amber Alerts is cars. You know, if you're driving down the freeway and you say, missing person, look for this car. What car do we look for?
And that's the only car she has is the one that left in the garage.
The Lexus.
Mhm.
And that's what you drove here tonight?
Yep.
Okay. Do you have any other cars that you drive?
And just my work truck.
Okay.
Only way she could have left the house is if somebody picked her up, but it would have to have been from the back. Because the camera in the front, with the neighbor, the way it faces the driveway, it would have picked that up. Only thing it picked up was me leaving at like 5:26.
Okay. How do you know? Is it your camera?
It's neighbor's camera.
Oh, did he tell you?
Yeah, we were all over there watching it with
Okay.
the officer.
Okay. All right.
It just showed me loading up my truck.
Oh. Is it on all the time?
His camera's on all the time, yep.
Okay. And all it saw was you leaving?
Yep.
Did it show her coming home?
I didn't show her walking in, no.
Okay.
But she was in the house when I
Yeah,
left.
obviously.
So I was just like
I'm just trying to think, so the camera, is it possible that it doesn't catch everything? Like a motion detector?
from what I saw, that thing, like, he showed me other, like, examples, but it was picking up, like, minuscule things
Oh.
in there. Like, it was like, it didn't take much to, like, just get it started recording.
Oh, so it probably is a motion detector then, it's
Yeah.
the start point?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Okay, so then there's his camera, your security system,
And my doorbell camera right
their
there.
doorbell camera.
And the only thing that was strange about mine that morning was that when I left, the garage door too remained open.
And kids, do they have any security little watches?
Mhm.
You know, something they have the call home button, nothing like that?
Nothing like that, yeah.
You know, iPads?
Mhm.
How old are they?
4 and 3.
Oh, they're pretty young. Anything else you can think of?
Honestly, like, we've exhausted, like, every option, every friend that we know
Okay.
that could have helped her.
Okay. So she's got no cash that we know of, no license, no phone. Anything about the clothes in the closet, the hamper, the drawers, that makes you think, she packed some boots, she's going to the mountains.
Like, she has so many clothes in that closet. Like, it'd be hard to really tell if she took a little amount. I mean, if she took a big amount, it'd be pretty obvious, but like a little amount, it would never.
Okay. So I know it's hard to talk about. mentioned that there was a hard conversation the two of you had about
Separation.
your marriage and separation. Now that you've had a little bit of time to think, looking back on that conversation, can you connect the dots between both of you being upset and crying, and here we are, and now she and the kids are gone? What do you think about?
I think about, like, did I cause this? Like, did I make her feel like she needs to leave? And, like, did she really feel, like, the things she was saying, did she really feel the same? Did she really feel like, all right, the disconnection, did she really feel all that, or she's just saying it? Like, maybe, like, us falling out of love, was that really registering her at that point in time, or did it register after I left to go to work? And then she's just like, I'm just going to leave.
Okay.
It's like, I'm not sure, because she laid back down.
Okay.
She was still there when I left.
Okay.
But, like, maybe she sat there and thought about it, like, do I really need to stay here right now? Like, if he doesn't love me, maybe I should just go.
Can you really get into that conversation with me? And what I want to know is, you obviously have a very deep relationship with her. She's your wife. But it's going to be easy for me to listen to what was said and maybe think that there are some clues about maybe she did just lay down and cry a little bit longer and something happened to her. Or maybe she did get frustrated and she left. So can we recreate that conversation?
Mm-hmm.
So tell me what happened.
So when I crawled back in bed.
So sorry, let's start from, she gets home late at night.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's start from that point.
Okay. So she got home about 2 a.m.
And were you already home?
Oh, yeah, I was passed out.
Okay.
Yeah, so, like, I felt her get into bed, that was about it. But about 4 a.m., that's when my alarm went off to go to work.
Okay.
So that's when I got ready and everything.
So from she gets her 2, alarm was off at 4, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And you were sleeping that whole time?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so the conversation hadn't started?
No.
Okay.
So about when my alarm goes off, that's when, after I get ready for work, I crawl back in bed and have that conversation.
So you wake up at 4.
Mm-hmm.
At 4, then what until you start the conversation?
Get dressed, get my clothes on, brush my teeth, deodorant, all that kind of stuff.
Okay. Shower?
No.
Okay.
Shower, night before.
Okay, what do you do for a living?
I work in the oil and gas.
Okay, so then it doesn't matter if you go to work without a shower? Okay.
Doesn't really matter.
All right.
It's going to be bad anyways.
Yeah. So then you wake up, you get ready. I'm sorry I interrupted you.
You're fine.
So then what time are we talking about when you're ready to talk with her?
About 4:15 or so.
Okay, and so she was asleep from the time she got in from 2 to 4,
Mm-hmm.
or 4:15. You wake up at 4:15, you're ready. Okay, and at 4:15, you start talking.
Mm-hmm.
Why do you talk at 4:15 in the morning?
I felt like I needed to talk to her face to face. Like, I wanted to say something. Like when she was in Arizona, like, I didn't want to do it through a text. I didn't want to do it through a call. I was like, I got back in bed. I was like, I needed to talk to her about this, because she had told me like when she was going to fly back that she wanted to get up with me so she could take a shower. She wanted to be there with me.
What do you mean when she got back?
When she flew back in.
From Phoenix?
Yeah.
Okay. So she told you, let's have a talk?
No, she wanted to get up with me so she could take a shower, get the airport off her, because her flight was delayed.
Oh, okay.
Her flight was supposed to get in at 11, but it didn't till 11.
Okay. And so did she call you or did she text you?
I think there was a call
Okay.
on that one.
All right. And so at 4:15, what happens?
That's when I crawled back in bed, and I kind of woke her up.
Okay.
And then I proceeded to talk to her about how I was feeling, about how I felt like what's been going on with us for the last, what she's seen in like the last 6 weeks, because she was in North Carolina, and I was down there just the last week. But from just being apart, and just like figuring out who people are. It's like honestly, the best way for people to really find out who they are is to spend time apart.
I agree.
And just kind of just like, you can just see yourself. Well, and then on the last week, that's when I went back to North Carolina, and I was there for the last week there.
Okay.
And when we were together, we could feel like it wasn't there, that spark.
Mm-hmm.
No, it's kind of cliche, but that spark wasn't there anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And on that night, I woke early that morning, I told her, like, the disconnection, it's there, like, it's not going away. Like, the connection we had in the beginning,
Mm-hmm.
it's not there anymore. It's like, I don't feel like the love we have is there anymore.
Okay.
And it's just like, I don't feel like, I mean, if we want to stay together for the kids, I'm not sure if that's going to work. Like,
Bring that's what you told him?
Yes.
Okay.
Like, having another baby, bring us into this relationship, do you think this is going to work with us being together? Or separation, I think, is going to be the best possible route for us. And that's when, like, all the crying and everything proceeded. It was very hard just to talk about that. But I needed to do it face to face.
Okay.
And I needed to see her face, like, while I couldn't text, phone, whatever. I needed to be face to face and be able to see her and know that she was going to be at least reciprocating back to me.
Oh. What did she say?
She said that she wanted to kind of work on it,
Mm-hmm.
but if that's the way I was feeling, then she respects that.
Okay.
And she said that most of the time, when you have kids and you have a relationship where people, like, love each other more, they fall out of love, there's connection, that having kids, even bringing a new baby into the equation, doesn't always work as well as keeping, like, the couple happy and the kids happy. It's like, it almost is like better if two are on different sides.
Yeah, you don't want to spend your whole marriage disliking each other and hating for the kids.
Yes, and that's one thing.
Okay. Is that accurate? I don't want to
That's totally accurate.
Okay.
I mean, you don't want to be the people parading around with, like, a mask on when the kids are around, and then when the kids go to sleep, you just go your separate ways.
Okay.
Like, that's what I don't want.
Okay.
And that's why we're talking about that separation that night.
Okay.
And that's why I got so emotional right there.
Okay. Emotional for you too?
Oh yeah, I was bawling my eyes out.
Okay. So then, as a result, how long did that conversation last?
It lasted, so about 4:15 when we started. We talked about the house as well.
Okay. What did you say about the house?
Like, we needed to sell the house. Like, there's no way, like, we can stay in this house and have another kid and be able to just keep everything afloat.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, well, where do you want to move to? I was like, well, we can move to Brighton, we can move, are you familiar with the area?
Kind of, yeah.
Okay. So we can move to Brighton, we can move to Vermont, we can move, like, wherever, somewhere that's cheaper.
Okay.
And she was like, well, because she had already contacted the realtor the week before through an email.
Oh.
To see, like, what she thought. And that's when, like, I actually contacted Ann that day, like pretty much probably about 8 o'clock that day.
Who's Ann?
The realtor.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and asked her, like, if we can get the ball rolling, like, see what she thought.
So you said your wife called a week before to the realtor?
Emailed her.
Okay, so then this conversation early in the morning wasn't a shock to either of you or a surprise. It was the next step
Yeah.
in the long conversation you have to have leading up to it. Okay.
This was not like just like weighing up like a Big Bang Theory type thing. It was just like, this was,
Okay.
that's why it was just an emotional conversation, like, because it wasn't just like come out of nowhere, left field type of thing. Like, we knew, like, something wasn't, we knew about what we wanted to do with the house. We knew, like, what's going on with it. Like, we knew something was.
Is it accurate to say that then the time when you were away from each other, when she was in North Carolina, the time when she was in Arizona, maybe the two of you knew that could have been time you were talking, and so when you finally get together, it's, we can't wait another second, we're going to talk.
Mm-hmm.
Is that right? Okay. And tell me if it's wrong.
No, you're right.
Okay, so then the conversation starts at 4:15. You talk about each other and your marriage. You talk about the house. Then what?
And that's when the conversation ends, and we're talking. That's when she says she's going to take her friends, or take her and her friends take her and the kids to her friend's house.
Which friend?
That's when she did not say.
That's what she did say. I'm taking the kids to a friend's house.
Yeah.
Are you sure she said that?
Yes.
You're positive?
Yes.
Okay, that's good. Now we're back to the blowing out steam probability, which we like, right?
Yeah, that's what I like.
Okay. So let's, if we're going to play the DVR, let's rewind 5 minutes. So we're at the house. You're talking about the house. You're saying this isn't going to work with the kid. We're going to sell this house. Then how do you remember what led to her talking about the kids?
As far as like taking them to a friend's house?
Yeah, like what conversation did you guys have?
That's when I rolled out of bed, and that's when she pretty much, she told me, like, I'm taking the kids to a friend's house today, and I'll be back later.
Are you sure she said she'll be back
Yes.
later? On a scale of 1 to 10, how positive?
That's a 10.
A 10?
Yeah.
Okay. So she said, I'm going to take the kids to a friend's house, but I'll be back later. Why?
And from what I just told her.
That doesn't make sense, though, because
I know.
you'd be at work, why would she have to leave?
That's the thing, like, why, I'm not sure why she wanted to go somewhere,
Okay.
but that's what she wanted. Like, maybe she didn't want to be in that house after what we were just
Fair
talking
enough.
about.
You just talked about it, yeah. It's no longer mentally, emotionally her house then.
Okay.
Okay. So let's focus on, I'm going to take the kids to my friend's house. What does that mean?
Hopefully it's someone that she trusts. Hopefully it's someone that she knows pretty well, and hopefully maybe they have a kid that Bella and Celeste can play with.
But you have no idea who that would be?
Because we have exhausted all those information, all those people.
Okay. Does that surprise you? Because I don't know your wife, but maybe that's something that's in her wheelhouse. Does that surprise you that she did said that and did that?
It doesn't surprise me that she went somewhere. Like, she said it could have been a play date,
Okay.
but she was very vague in the fact that she just said she was going to a friend's house.
Okay.
And didn't say who.
Okay.
That's why I texted her, like, if you can tell me, like, where the kids are.
So then we're at I'm going to take the kids, I'm going to go to a friend's house. You sure she didn't say I'm going to take them somewhere to a hotel or to
Oh, there was
You're
no.
positive she said to a friend's house? And not just someone's house, but a friend's house?
Yeah, because, like, if it was a hotel, I would have definitely asked the question, like, why are you going to a hotel?
Yeah. Okay.
That wouldn't, yeah.
Where can we look to find friends that you might not know about?
Honestly, Facebook's the only place.
Facebook?
Because that's the one she frequents.
Okay.
That's the only place.
What's her Facebook account? Doesn't she do something online? Doesn't she have an online presence or something?
It's with Thrive, the direct sales business.
Is that like her job?
Yeah.
So it's called what?
Thrive. Yeah. The company's called The Bell, but the company's called The Bell.
LaBelle?
Yeah, LE-VEL.
Where would be a list of contacts at Thrive that we could go start talking to people?
Oh, we've already gave them all to them. Like, everybody that she contacts through Thrive, they have them in
Does
the
those have that?
Yep.
In that phone?
Mm-hmm.
Through what? An app?
No, just like all the people that she contacts throughout the day.
Okay.
Like from Addie and Sam, and they're all in there.
Addie and Sam, where are they?
Addie Maloney's one of her leaders back east.
Okay.
Sam Paisley, another leader.
Someone who's supporting her sales.
Yeah.
What about people who, because she's in sales, what about customers she tries to reach out to she doesn't even know? How does she do that?
Messenger.
You've met some strangers?
Either it's her Facebook page is I guess it's public.
Okay, so she has friends on friends Facebook
Yeah.
that might someday think that they want Thrive, they can reach her.
Mm-hmm.
How else does she do it?
It's mainly just through Facebook.
Through Facebook?
Yeah, like if she has she might do it on Instagram every once in a while. She'll like sync them both, so that
Okay.
goes to both. But
Facebook, and what was it, Instagram?
yeah,
Okay, what's her Instagram username? So you don't do Thrive?
I do, but she kind of runs it.
Okay. Do you do it separately from her then?
It's a different team, but I'm under her.
Okay.
Like it's like she signed me up under her,
Okay.
so whatever I do helps her.
Right. Okay. So let's continue with, I'm going to go to my friend's house. Then what happens?
That's when I go downstairs, make my protein shake, get the lunch, everything ready.
Because you're not going back to bed at this point.
No, I gotta go to work now.
And this is somewhere near 5?
5:15.
Okay.
And then that's when I go out, get my truck, load everything in it, and 5:30
Okay.
we're about, what the neighbors think, said about 5:26, I'm gone.
Okay. And she's still at the house then? Are you sure?
Yeah, 'cause I mean, she never came back downstairs.
And explain your house to me. Do you leave through downstairs?
I go downstairs and you leave through the garage.
So then this conversation happened upstairs?
Yes.
In the master bedroom?
Yes.
Okay. And you're sure she didn't come down?
Like, once I was in the garage, so I didn't see anything after that.
Did you see her car in there?
Yes.
Okay, and you left when her car was in there?
Yep.
So it's clear she's in there.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just trying to determine if there's any other time she could have disappeared. And then, so from 5:30 then, what?
That's when I went to work.
Okay. All right.
And 7:40 is the next time I texted her.
And what'd you text her then?
I hadn't heard from her, and I was just seeing if she knew like or just seeing where she went.
Okay, so at this point, it's 2 hours later and you're thinking, I wonder where she's going.
Yeah.
Okay. And is that text on your phone?
Yes.
Okay. Then all the way, what happened between 7:40 and noon?
I was working. I was outside working.
Okay. So when you come in the house, does she usually come in the front door?
Unless she drives in.
Okay.
Then she goes into the garage.
Okay.
That was just from the previous night when she came in.
Oh, okay. If she comes in, drives in with, what's your other car, Lexus?
Yep.
She drives in the Lexus, comes in.
She comes in the garage door that way if she's driving the garage. But since Nicole dropped her off that previous night, she came in the front door.
Oh, someone else is driving. The Lexus is already there.
The Lexus is already there.
Okay, so then that makes sense.
Yeah.
So you see what we're trying to do? We're trying to be like, did she walk out or was she taken out, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, so it sounds like Nicole's pretty worried.
Mm-hmm.
More worried than you.
Well, so once she couldn't get anything out of her and nothing was going on in the house, I was like, all right, I gotta go home.
But it sounds like Nicole was more worried.
Yeah, because like most of like if she doesn't text me, like I understand that.
Okay.
Like sometimes that happens.
Okay.
But for her not to get back to her
Okay.
direct sales group,
Okay.
that was very unorthodox.
Okay. But Nicole's freaking out.
Mm-hmm.
Is that right?
Yeah.
And I'm walking myself through this. You tell me, no, that's not what happened.
No, I mean, like, she was, like, for her not to get back to her friends like that, like, that's not normal, because, like, she'll get, like, tons of text messages throughout the day from direct sales.
All right.
Like, if she doesn't get back to me, I just assume that she's busy.
Okay. Shanann's wedding ring is on
On
the
the
nightstand.
nightstand.
Her phone is on the couch. Her purse is still here. The medicine for the kids is still here. The car with the car seats are still here. There is no sign of them anywhere.
We tried to go through from what we could gather, like, where she could have gone.
Okay.
As far as, like, 'cause what we saw in the house didn't really make sense.
Okay.
So that's where we're just, like, started to look through the phone and just kind of call around. Once we found the phone and Nicole knew what the passcode was, we just kind of loaded up and see what transpired. And obviously there was, like, 50-something text messages that like, popped through.
Okay. What do you mean the phone was off?
It was off.
When you found it was off?
Off.
Was the battery dead?
No.
What do you make of that?
I have no clue. Like, why was it off and why was it not with her?
It's weird, right? Because if you're saying that she does a ton of texting and marketing and sales and calling certain people back, okay, how would it turn off?
You'd have to turn it off.
Okay.
Because it wasn't dead. It was like 50% or so, I think.
Are you sure? Okay. And it was on the couch.
Mm-hmm.
What do you make of that?
Usually it's not right by her nightstand.
Okay.
That's usually where it always is.
Nightstand in the bedroom?
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else about that?
No, that is weird that it was sitting like on the couch cushion, like right there.
Okay. And so you and Nicole aren't besties per se? You and Nicole?
Oh no, like we're friends, but yeah, my wife and her are really good friends.
Okay. And so Nick, you don't spend much time with Nick?
No.
Okay. Why is Nick there?
He was just with his mom.
Okay. Is there anything weird about Nicole and Nick?
Not that I really think of.
Do you think anything about your wife not being around has anything to do with Nicole and Nick?
I would hope not. I mean, like, Nicole was one of her good friends. I don't think they could have done anything, like, as far as, like, helping her get out and then being so emotional when they couldn't find her. I don't think they could be capable of that. I run upstairs and I look at the bedrooms.
Okay. And because that's where she would be?
That's where I would expect.
So it's just a standard house, upstairs bedrooms, downstairs living area?
Yep.
Okay.
There's one office downstairs.
Okay.
I'm going to Bella's room, going to Celeste's room, playroom, master bedroom. I'm looking everywhere, like bathrooms, and nothing.
Okay. And then?
I found the wedding ring right there on the nightstand, and then...
Right then?
Yeah.
Okay.
Nick,
Is that weird?
she only takes it off if she colors her hair.
Okay.
And she had already colored her hair like the week before, so...
Okay.
That was just like probably a result of her conversation,
Oh.
I would think.
Okay.
And then Nick finds her phone on the couch.
So now we're at finding the phone, Nicole unlocking the phone, then what?
Waiting for everything to load up and watching all the text messages pop up, phone calls, missed calls pop up, and go from there.
And what were they?
It was just people asking like, are you okay? Where are you? Type things.
Okay. Who originally called the police?
Nicole.
Okay. And is that the time when you're telling me you're coming home and she's freaking out?
She said that, she told me she was gonna call the police, but I thought, okay, I'm coming home. It's like, let me look through everything, let's see what's going on here. And on my way home, that's when she called me and said, the cops are here.
Okay. All right.
Anybody that I know right now, like, if they have not told me anything, it drives me nuts. It's driving me nuts, because, like, there's no way, like, the people that I know that have kids that could have helped her, if she's at somebody's house right now, like, they would have had to say something. But with all this going on, there's no way they could have kept their mouth shut by now.
So then who are you worried about?
Honestly, like, I can't really say, like, I'm worried about anybody right now as far as, like, any of her friends that I know.
Okay.
All of them are showing, like, they're deep concern about what's going on right now.
Okay.
And I think, like, with that deep concern, that can't be faked. The only thing that I can think of is somebody I don't know.
Okay. Does your gut tell you that Shanann and the kids walked out, or that they were taken out?
Yesterday I would have said they walked out. Today I would have said I'm leaning the other direction.
So when I work investigations like this, I have to keep an open mind on everything. Okay. The day she goes missing is the day that you guys have marital discord. Okay. So you can understand what I'm thinking about you.
Yeah.
What do you think about that?
Makes me sick to my stomach, honestly. Like, I know, like, I've talked to a few of my friends who's like, you know, this does not look good on you. I'm like, I know. It's like, if people knew that we were having marital issues, they're gonna look at me, especially with the way everything looks. It honestly just makes me sick to my stomach, because this is something that I would never do. I know, like, you have to look at every vantage point. This is something I would never do to my kids or my wife. I'm not sure, like, what I could do to make people believe that, just because if they knew we were having marital discord, they would automatically look at me. But there's no, I would harm anybody in my family. And I know we were having marital discord, and we had that conversation that morning, and then she goes, we have no idea where she is, or the kids. I promise you that I had nothing to do with any of that.
Are you telling me the truth?
I am sorry.
Why should I believe you?
Because I'm a very trustworthy person, and the people that do know me, they know how I'm a calm person. I am not an argumentative person. I am a person who is never going to be abusive or physical in any kind of relationship. I would never harm my kids. I would never harm my wife. I mean, you can talk to any of my friends, any of her friends. They know me. They know I'm a low-key guy that's quiet. So I'm not about confrontation. I'm not about anything that elevates to that level. I mean, like, if someone yells at me, screams at me, I just take it, and I just try to get it by the wayside and get it back to where it's just a cool conversation, to where, like, none of that gets to that height, because I am not that person. I've never been that person.
You can imagine it's my job, okay? And I told you that tonight, we would talk about things and might offend you, you know that we have to get to the bottom of this. You know that.
Yeah.
Okay. Would you take a polygraph?
Sure.
Okay. Would you take it tonight?
That's what you want me to do. I've never done one. I don't know, like, what it involves, but.
Well, why don't we do this? Let's take a little break. I'm going to come back in here, because I have a lot more questions for you. Okay. I want to remind you that tonight is voluntary. Okay. I can't keep you in here. I won't keep you in here. If you want to get right up and walk out of here, you can do that. Okay. All right. Do you want to keep talking with me?
I mean, I can.
Okay.
I mean, if that's what you want, I can keep talking.
let's take a tiny break. Get some water. Do you need to use the restroom?
No.
Okay. There's some water, Gatorade actually, if you need it. I'm going to step out for a minute. I need to look over some of my notes. I'm going to come right back in here. I'm not going to be out very long, okay?
Okay.